For a while now, I've been getting comments saying that I don't respect women, that periods should be private, that they are embarrassing, shameful, even humiliating. I want to be clear. Women's bodies aren't shameful. Periods aren't shameful, and talking about them isn't either. I crochet those pieces to normalize periods, break stigma, educate, and celebrate our bodies, because periods are normal, and nothing about them should make anyone feel ashamed. Silencing women or teaching us to feel ashamed of our periods and our bodies isn't respect, it's stigma. There is a huge difference between private and hidden. Periods have been hidden for generations, and silence has consequences. How are women supposed to know whether their period symptoms are normal if no one talks about them, if we're taught to keep our periods hidden? On average, it takes years for people to be taken seriously and diagnosed with conditions like endometriosis or PCOS. There's also uterine fibroids, ovarian cysts, adenomyosis, cancer, and I could go on. So, how are women supposed to recognize the signs of those conditions if no one is allowed to talk about periods? And yes, we should talk about it because we deserve to be educated about our own bodies and we deserve access to care when we need it. In the first video, we talked about how periods are natural and not something to be ashamed of. In the second, we talked about why we should openly talk about periods instead of hiding them. Now I want to talk about something just as important, because while periods are normal, not all period symptoms are. Pain that stops you from living your life. Bleeding so heavy you soak through products every hour. Bleeding in between periods. Periods that last longer than a week. Periods that disappear for months at a time. Or symptoms that keep getting worse over time. Those aren't things you're supposed to just push through. For generations, women have been told that this is just how it is, that we're dramatic, that suffering is normal. I'm not a medical professional and I can't diagnose you, but I can share information, awareness, and the lived experience of many women so you know what to be aware of and when something might not be normal. Knowing this can help you ask better questions and advocate for yourself. If something doesn't feel right, please talk to a doctor or a health provider you trust. And if there are topics you'd like me to cover next, you're welcome to leave suggestions in the comments. My doctor told me that my 11-week long period was normal and not a concern. As shocking as that sounds, experiences like this are unfortunately very common. Many women are told their period symptoms are normal and something they just have to live with. This isn't about blaming individual doctors, it's about raising awareness of a pattern that affects women's health far too often. I want to talk about this more. I'll be putting together a compilation to show just how common this really is. If you've ever been told something dismissive, confusing, or invalidating about your period or reproductive health by a medical professional and you're comfortable sharing, please leave a comment. At this point, I'm gonna keep using comments like this to continue the conversation because clearly it's still needed. So let's talk about education. Education is knowing your body. It's understanding what a period actually is. It's knowing what products exist and how they work. It's knowing which period symptoms are normal and which are not. It's being aware of medical conditions that affect women. What's not education is teaching girls that their bodies are embarrassing, that periods should be hidden, that talking about reproductive health is inappropriate. Silence is not education, and neither is shame. You don't have to like my content, but calling someone uneducated and stupid for openly discussing women's health and periods only proves how much stigma still exists. And as long as conversations about periods and women's health make people uncomfortable, I'm gonna keep crocheting and I'm gonna keep making new videos. I don't want to focus only on negative comments because I do receive so many kind, thoughtful, and encouraging messages. I'm going to put some recent positive comments on the screen so you can pause and read them if you want. There's so many more than this and I didn't go through every single video, so please don't feel bad if yours isn't shown. I read and appreciate all of them. I also often receive DMs with encouraging messages. I won't be sharing those because they're private, but please know I am thankful for all of them. I also receive messages from women sharing their experiences with health conditions, diagnosis journeys, or difficult experiences with the doctors. And I want you to know how much it means to me that you are comfortable enough to share your story with me. The same goes for conversations that I have at in-person events. I still remember the first deep conversation I had with someone. I had to step away from my table for a few minutes because I had tears in my eyes. And moments like this remind me why I do this, because those conversations matter and maybe together we can make a difference. And I'm extremely grateful to everyone who watches, likes, shares, and especially to those who take their time to comment. So, thank you.